Welcome to Think About It, a platform to share your thoughts and give your opinions. So, listen, talking about religion, what are some of the qualifications that you have for the religious person or organizations in your life, apart from or aside from certifications and degrees of theology? What are some of the qualifications that you hold the overseers in your life at? Do you look at their integrity? Do you look at how they live their life, how they treat their family, their spouse, their children, their co-workers, their employees, their employers? I say that because it seems as though in this day and age, there's a lot of religious psychosis going on, meaning people just going through ritualistic things, but not really applying the word of God to their life as it was intended. Prime example, sometimes you can go to a retail store, a grocery store, and you'll get in line and you'll have a rude cashier or salesperson, and yet they claim to know God for themselves. If you were to ask them 9 times out of 10, they'd say that they were a Christian, um, which is interesting because the Word of God teaches about the fruit of the Spirit, being kind, long suffering, this, that, and the other. But oddly enough, Christians often don't display those types of fruit in everyday life. When you go to the grocery store and go through the line, just using this for an example, how many times have you seen the cashier hurry someone along? You can't even put your change or receipt in your wallet or your purse or your bag before they're saying next for the next person to step up in line to be helped. Sometimes there's not even any acknowledgement. No good morning, good afternoon, how are you today? They don't even look at you. They just start scanning the items and putting them aside. Wouldn't it be something to say, you must be a Christian? Maybe that's what we need to start doing, telling people, you must be a Christian. Because aren't Christians the ones that get on their soapbox and condemn and judge others more harshly than any other religion, in my opinion? Telling folks what they should do and who's going to hell and who's not, and this, that, and the third. Yet you're a poor example. Not all, but a lot of Christians can be poor examples of the things that you should not be doing. They're good examples of things you should not be doing, and poor examples of things you should be doing. Now, I know we all have bad days, myself included. But if you're having more bad days and more nasty days than not, that's a problem. That's a problem. Who are you serving that you are more unhappy than happy? Why would anyone want to listen to what you have to say if your service, your attitude, and your integrity is worse than the so-called sinners in the street? Why would they want to listen and belong to whatever organization or guide or purpose you serve? Why would they want to join that when all they see is you falling short of the glory of God more often than not? You're acting worse than some of the sinners, and that shouldn't be. What about the mental health of some of these so-called overseers and pastors? Since we know sheep are not the smartest of animal creations, and often in religious backgrounds, they say that you need a shepherd to oversee the flock, metaphorically speaking. So, as the sheep, how would they know what qualifications to hold the shepherd to? because they tend to be followers and not leaders. So who is vetting the pastors, the ministers? Who is holding these people accountable? Not just in credentials on paper with degrees and certificates, but life experience, community input, community outreach, integrity. How are you at home? How are you in public? How are you in private? Who is checking up on these people? Like the government would if you had foster children. Who is the social worker of these religious people that are in position of power? And we tend to have a lot of sister wives in church as well. Whereas they do more for the pastor than his own wife. In a sense that, oh, the pastor needs this, the pastor needs that. Oh, the pastor, the pastor, the pastor. He has a whole wife. It's almost as though pastor becomes Simon Says. Simon says this, pastor says that, pastor says that, pastor says go here, pastor says goes there. What does God say? The pastor is not God. Sometimes a lot of religious folk put more emphasis in the pastor in the church than they do God in the word itself. And what about these storefront churches where the congregation is the family alone minus 2 or 3 people in over 3 years? Why is it that you only have 2 or 3 people aside from your family that's in your congregation and you're a church? You're a ministry. Why hasn't it grown? Doesn't the word say, you know a tree by the fruit that it bears? And your church has been barren for 2, 3, 4, 5 plus years? Why is that? Are we not seeing these things? Why are we not calling a thing a thing? And what's up with these girly boys and men that are in the church? And we wonder why we have so many single sisters, because it's like masculinity is non-existent. You have a lot of the girly boy men in the music ministry. And you know the pastors know that homosexuality is going on, but they won't call that out. But yes, yet they say no sin is greater than another. So now, why not call that out? We all know we fall short of the glory of God, so call a thing a thing. Let's deal with it, handle it, and move on. Well, a lot of them can't because they're part of some of the sins that need to be called out. So it's just really disheartening to see these things going on. And I just wanted to know what you thought about it. All right, well, leave your comments and thank you for your time. And let's see what becomes of this. What's your feedback? Thank you so much.